The chamber was built to impress. It stretched 300 meters across with walls that showed the stars beyond. Floating platforms held representatives from 60 different species. Each platform glowed with the colors of the species' home world. Ambassador Sarah Chen stood on Earth's platform. It was small. It was always small. Humanity had joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. They still had the smallest platform positioned near the back. The placement was not an accident. Sarah had been Earth's chief diplomat for 15 years. She had gray hair now. Every strand had been earned. She had filed 847 formal complaints. Not one had resulted in real action. Today was complaint 848. Mediator Zixthor, Sarah said. Her voice was calm. It was always calm. I bring grave news. The human colony on Kepler 442b has been destroyed. 2 million civilians are dead. The insectoid mediator's antennae twitched. Do you have proof? Sarah held up a small device. Images appeared in the center of the chamber. A peaceful colony, gardens, schools, children playing, then fire ships with Valkyrie markings, weapons firing, buildings collapsing, bodies. Silence filled the chamber for exactly 5 seconds. Then Ambassador Velkrath laughed. The sound was like rocks grinding together. The Valkyrie were large, reptilian, and had dominated the council for 2 centuries. Velkrath's scales gleamed red and black. His teeth showed when he smiled. Pest control, Velkrath said. The colony was built in a disputed zone. We warned you. You ignored us. Actions have consequences. Sarah's jaw tightened. Just barely. The zone was not disputed. We followed every rule. We filed for permission 30 years ago. It was granted. Rules change, Velkrath said. He was still smiling. Adapt or die. That is the law of nature. Other ambassadors shifted on their platforms. Some looked uncomfortable. None spoke. This was always how it went. The Valkyrie were powerful. The Valkyrie had the largest fleet. The Valkyrie did what they wanted, and humanity? Humanity always complained. Humanity always filed paperwork. Humanity always followed the rules. Humanity never fought back. Mediator Zixthor's voice was apologetic. Ambassador Chen, the Council acknowledges your complaint. However, without clear evidence of intent, we cannot take action. The Valkyrie claim it was a security measure. Their right to self-defense is recognized by Council law. Sarah was quiet for a long moment. In the back of the chamber, a human man in a dark suit watched. His name was Captain James Reeves. Officially, he was part of the security detail. Unofficially, he was intelligence. He had never spoken in the chamber. He watched Sarah carefully. Her hands were shaking. Just slightly. Just enough that those who knew her could see. 15 years. 848 complaints. 50 years apiece. And now 2 million dead, I see, Sarah said softly. Mediator, I request 72 hours to consult with Earth. We need to discuss our response to this situation. Velkrath laughed again. Take a week. Take a month. Consult all you want. File another complaint. Humans are good at talking. It is all you do. Several other ambassadors made sounds that might have been laughter. The Valkyrie had allies. They always did. Granted, Zixthor said. 72 hours. We will reconvene to hear Earth's position. Sarah bowed slightly. Respectful. Always respectful. She turned to leave. Captain Reeves followed her. They walked through the long corridors in silence. They passed other diplomats. Some looked sympathetic. Most looked bored. In the human quarters, Sarah finally stopped. She stood at a window, looking out at the stars. Reeves stood behind her, waiting. They killed 2 million people, Sarah said. Her voice was steady. And they laughed. Yes, ma'am, 50 years, James. 50 years we have tried their way. Peace, diplomacy, rules, committees. She turned to face him. Her eyes were dry, but something burned behind them. We followed every law. We bent over backwards. We tried so hard to be good members of their community. Yes, ma'am. And what did we learn? Reeves was silent for a moment. Then he said, that they mistake patience for weakness. Exactly. Sarah walked to her desk. She activated a communication device. It was encrypted with codes that would take the Valkyrie 1,000 years to break. Priority 1 transmission to Geneva. Eyes only. Premier Webb, Fleet Admiral Volkov, and the Security Council. She took a deep breath. Subject, Kepler 442b massacre. 2 million confirmed dead. Council refuses action. Velkari claims self-defense. Other species complicit through silence. She paused. Recommendation Protocol Ember. Reeves inhaled sharply. Protocol Ember. It was a phrase that had not been spoken aloud in 50 years. Every human in the diplomatic service knew what it meant. Every human in the military knew what it meant. It was the plan that had been prepared on day one. The plan that said, if peace fails, if diplomacy fails, if they force us to it, then we stop being diplomats. Sarah sent the message. The device confirmed, received. She looked at Reeves. How long do you think the vote will take? She asked. For this? After what just happened? Reeves checked his own encrypted device. A message was already coming through. He read it. His expression did not change, but his posture did. He stood straighter. Vote's already done, ma'am. Unanimous. All protocols authorized. Fleet mobilization begins immediately. Sarah nodded slowly. She felt something she had not felt in 15 years. It was not anger. It was not grief. It was certainty. Then I suppose we should prepare, she said. We have 72 hours to position our forces. The Velkari were kind enough to give us that time. They don't know what's coming, Reeves said quietly. No, Sarah agreed. They think we're soft. They think talking is all we can do. She looked out at the stars again. Somewhere out there 2 million humans lay dead. Somewhere out there the Velkari were celebrating. They're about to learn something we tried very hard not to teach them. What's that, ma'am? Sarah's reflection in the window looked tired, sad, but her eyes were hard. That humans are very, very good at talking. Because we learned to talk instead of killing each other. We had to learn. Because we were too good at the killing part. The emergency session began 4 hours after Sarah's message reached Earth. Premier Marcus Webb sat at the head of a table. Around him were the leaders of every major nation, every military branch, every intelligence service. The room was deep underground in Geneva. It had been built for this exact purpose. On the screens, images from Kepler 442b played on repeat. Fire, death, children. The vote is unanimous, Webb said. His voice was quiet. Protocol Ember is authorized. Admiral Volkov, you have command. Fleet Admiral Katya Volkov stood. She was 60 years old with short silver hair and eyes like chips of ice. She had never fought in a real war. No human had in 50 years. But she had studied war. Every human military officer had. It was required. Thank you, Premier. Volkov activated a holographic display. The galaxy appeared above the table, rotating slowly. Red dots marked human territory. Blue dots marked Velkari territory. There were hundreds of other colors for other species. I'll be brief. For 50 years we have prepared for this day. We hoped it would never come. It has come, she touched the display. The map changed. Suddenly there were far more red dots, ships, thousands of them. These are our forces. Real forces, not what the galaxy knows about. Murmurs around the table. We have hidden 70% of our military capability. Our cargo ships, half of them are warships in disguise. Our mining stations, military bases, our research vessels, intelligence platforms. A general from the Asian coalition leaned forward. How did we hide this from their sensors? Dr. Yuki Tanaka spoke up. She ran the weapons research division. We built our ships to look weak on purpose. We used primitive-looking materials on the outside. Chemical rockets instead of plasma drives. Simple metal hulls instead of energy shields. They scanned us 50 years ago and decided we were not a threat. They never looked again. But inside? Webb asked. Inside we have quantum processors, gravitic engines, and weapons the galaxy has never seen. We took their technology and made it better. We studied every species. We learned their strengths. We learned their weaknesses. Tanaka smiled. It was not a happy smile. We have been very good students, Volkov continued. The Velkari have a larger fleet. Maybe 5-1, but they fight the way they always fight. They expect everyone else to fight the same way. Straight lines, honor, territory. She paused. We don't fight that way. How do we fight? Someone asked. A man in a black uniform answered. His uniform had no name, no rank. He was only called Wraith. He led Ghost Squadron, the special operations unit that officially did not exist. We fight dirty, Wraith said. His voice was flat. We attack supply lines. We spread misinformation. We make them paranoid. We hit them where they're weak and run before they can respond. We make them afraid. Is that honorable? Asked a representative from the African Union. Webb answered. They killed 2 million civilians. Honor died with them. Silence. Volkov pulled up another display. This one showed history. Old history. Wars on Earth, the Mongol invasions, the World Wars, the nuclear exchange of 2089 that nearly ended humanity, the unification wars that followed. The other species think we're peaceful because we're weak, Volkov said. They're wrong. We're peaceful because we know what war costs. We have been to the edge of extinction. We have stared into the abyss. We climbed back out. We learned. She zoomed in on one image. It showed a ruined city. This was New York after the nuclear war. We learned that we were too good at killing. So we chose to be better. We chose peace. We chose cooperation. We chose diplomacy. The image changed. Now it showed Kepler 442b. Before and after. The Velkari have forced us to remember what we tried to forget. They have reminded us what we are capable of. They made a mistake, and what mistake? Webb asked softly. They thought we forgot how to fight. We didn't, we just chose not to. There's a difference. Another hologram appeared. This one showed the message that would be sent to the galaxy. Simple words in every known language. We tried peace. Now you'll meet the other side of humanity. Webb read it twice. Then he nodded. When do we send it? In 72 hours, Volkov said. After our forces are in position. After Ambassador Chen makes her final statement to the Council. After the Velkari have had time to laugh at us one more time. And then we show them. Volkov's expression was carved from stone. We show them what humans learned in 10,000 years of warfare. We show them what we're capable of when we stop trying to be peaceful. Across the solar system, orders went out. Ships that had pretended to be cargo vessels powered up weapons systems. Mining stations deployed fighter squadrons. Research vessels activated military-grade sensors and began tracking every Velkari ship in known space. On Mars, in the deep training facilities, soldiers prepared. They had trained for this their entire lives. Every human in the military knew the history. Every human knew the plan. Protocol Ember had 3 stages. Stage 1, reveal. Show them what you really are. Stage 2, shock. Hit them so hard they can't respond. Stage 3, end. Finish the war before they adapt. In the intelligence centers, analysts worked through the night. Every Velkari ship was tracked. Every supply line was mapped. Every communication was intercepted and decoded. The Velkari used encryption they thought was unbreakable. Humans had broken it 30 years ago. In the weapons labs, Dr. Tanaka supervised final checks. The new weapons were based on human history. Kinetic weapons that moved at relativistic speeds. EMP devices that could shut down an entire fleet. Nanobots that could infiltrate enemy systems. And other things. Darker things. Things that made even her uncomfortable. Are we really going to use these? Her assistant asked, looking at the specifications. If we have to, Tanaka said. The goal is to end this quickly. The longer it goes, the more people die, on both sides. Do you think we can win? Tanaka was quiet for a moment. Then she said, the Velkari have never lost a war. They have better ships, more ships. They've been fighting for centuries. They know tactics we've only read about, she paused. But they've never fought humans. They don't know what we're like when we stop holding back. That's our advantage. Surprise, fear, and the absolute certainty that we will do whatever it takes. Across human space, sleeper agents activated. These were humans who had lived among other species for decades. Merchants, teachers, workers, they had been waiting. Now they began to spread information, rumors. The humans were coming. The humans were angry. The humans had been hiding something. The Velkari heard the rumors and laughed. Humans? The ones who talked and filed complaints? The ones who never fought back? They had no idea. Back in Geneva, Premier Webb stood at a window. He looked up at the stars. Somewhere up there, Sarah Chen was preparing to deliver humanity's final diplomatic message. Somewhere up there, 2 million humans lay dead. Admiral Volkov joined him. Second thoughts? She asked. Many, Webb admitted. But that doesn't change what needs to be done. We tried their way, peace, diplomacy, rules, they rejected it. They chose violence. Now they'll learn what human violence looks like. We could still stop this, Volkov said quietly. Send Sarah back with another complaint. Keep trying. And the next time, how many more die? 2 million more? 10 million? When does it stop? Volkov had no answer. Webb turned to face her. We tried to be better than our nature. We tried to leave war behind. They wouldn't let us. So now they get to meet who we were, who we can still be when we have to be. He pulled up a final image. It showed Earth from space, blue and green and beautiful. This is what we're protecting, he said. Not just the planet, not just humans. We're protecting the idea that peace is possible, that different species can coexist, that violence doesn't have to be the answer. He paused. But if someone forces us to fight, we'll show them why peace was the better option. The countdown had begun. 72 hours until revelation. 72 hours until the galaxy learned the truth about humanity. 72 hours until war. Sarah Chen returned to the council chamber exactly 72 hours later. She walked differently. Her shoulders were back. Her steps were firm. Captain Reeves walked beside her, but now he wore his real uniform. Military dress. Every medal earned. Every campaign ribbon displayed. The other ambassadors noticed. Whispers spread across the chamber. Velcrath saw them enter. He was lounging on his platform, confident and relaxed. "Ah, the humans return. Have you filed your complaint properly? Did you use the correct forms?" Several ambassadors laughed with him. Sarah stepped onto the human platform. She did not bow. She did not apologize. She simply activated the central display. "Members of the Galactic Council," she said. Her voice carried across the chamber, clear, strong. "For 50 years, humanity has been a member of this council. For 50 years, we have followed your laws. We have respected your customs. We have chosen diplomacy over conflict. We have tried peace." The display changed. It showed Earth, but not the Earth they knew. This Earth was burning. Cities in ruins. Mushroom clouds rising. The year 2089. "This is our world 150 years ago," Sarah continued. "We had discovered nuclear weapons. We used them on each other. We nearly destroyed ourselves. 3 billion humans died in 5 years. Our planet was poisoned. Our civilization collapsed." The chamber was silent now. Even Velcrath had stopped smiling. The images changed, showed the unification wars. Battles fought with desperation. Humans killing humans over the scraps of their ruined world. And then we survived. We rebuilt. We unified. And we learned. We learned that we were very good at war. Too good. We learned that we had a choice. We could be warriors or we could be something better. Now the display showed human history. The Mongol horde sweeping across continents. The Roman legions. The world wars, blitzkrieg, nuclear submarines, stealth bombers. Weapons that could end worlds. We chose to be better. When we joined the Galactic Council, we chose peace. We hid our weapons. We presented ourselves as we wanted to be, not as we were. We tried to learn from you. We tried to be civilized. Sarah's voice grew cold. You mistook our choice for weakness. You mistook our peace for cowardice. You tested us, again and again. Trade embargoes. Seized colonies. Destroyed stations. We complained. We filed paperwork. We tried every diplomatic option. The display showed Kepler 442b, the colony before. Happy people. Then the attack. The deaths. And then you killed 2 million of our people, and you laughed. Velcrath started to speak. Ambassador Chen, this is inappropriate. I am not finished. Sarah's voice cracked like a whip. Velcrath actually flinched. You will listen, because this is the last time humans speak as diplomats. She touched the display again. Now it showed space, human space. But the map was wrong. There were too many ships. Thousands of them. All human. This is what you didn't see. This is what we hid. For 50 years we built. We prepared. We hoped we would never need it. But we remembered the lesson from our own history. Hope for peace. Prepare for war. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Disbelief. Fear. The map showed human military power that exceeded some major species. Impossible, Velcrath said. We scanned your forces. You have cargo ships, research vessels. You're a minor power. You scanned what we wanted you to scan. Our cargo ships have weapons. Our research vessels are warships. Our mining stations are military bases. We learned from you, deception is a weapon. One you taught us to use. Sarah looked directly at Velcrath. You pride yourself on your military strength. Your fleet is the largest in the galaxy. You have never lost a war. You fight with honor, with traditional tactics, with the certainty of victory. She smiled. It was a terrible smile. Humans don't fight with honor. We fight to win. We use every advantage. every trick, every weakness. We learned this over 10,000 years of killing each other. We are very, very good at it. The display changed again. Now it showed real-time tactical data, the Valkyrie home system. Their fleet positioned proudly around their homeworld. And surrounding them, invisible until that moment, were human ships. Hundreds of them. Already in attack positions, Velkrath stared at the display. His scales went pale. When, he stammered, while you were laughing at us, while you celebrated the massacre of our people, while you thought we were filing complaints, we were positioning our forces. You gave us 72 hours. We used them. Sarah turned to address the entire council. Humanity has a message for the Galactic Council. For the Valkyrie Empire. For anyone who thinks humans are weak. She paused. We tried peace. Now you will meet the other side of humanity. The tactical display updated in real time. In the Valkyrie home system, human ships decloaked simultaneously. The Valkyrie fleet scrambled to respond. They outnumbered the humans 5-1. They should have been confident. They were not. The first human weapons hit the Valkyrie fleet before they could raise shields. Kinetic rounds moving at a fraction of light speed. They punched through armor like it was paper. Ships exploded. Others lost power. The Valkyrie returned fire, but the human ships were faster. They moved like dancers, like they knew where every shot would be before it was fired. Because they did. Human intelligence had been intercepting Valkyrie communications for 30 years. They knew every tactic, every strategy, every commander's preferences. This is a violation of council law. Velkrath roared. You demand nothing, Sarah's voice was ice. You killed our people. You laughed. You called it pest control. The time for demands has ended. On the display, the battle continued. Human ships used tactics the galaxy had never seen. They split into small groups, attacking from multiple angles. When the Valkyrie focused on one group, another would strike from behind. They used electronic warfare, disrupting Valkyrie sensors and communications. They launched missiles that changed course mid-flight, seeking weak points, and they were winning. In 30 minutes, the Valkyrie had lost 40% of their home fleet. Not destroyed, but disabled, drifting, helpless. Human ships could have finished them. They didn't. Why did they stop? Asked the ambassador from the Trill Confederation. Because we're not savages, Sarah said quietly. We could kill them all. But we won't. We disable. We capture. We give them the chance to surrender. That's the difference between us and them. She looked at Velkrath. You have two choices. Surrender now and negotiate peace terms. Or we continue. We have mapped every military installation in Valkyrie space. We know where your fleets are positioned. We know your supply lines, your communication networks, your weaknesses. Velkrath said nothing. He was staring at the tactical display, watching his empire's fleet burn. There is a human saying, Sarah continued, walk softly and carry a big stick. We walked softly for 50 years. You forced us to show you the stick. This is only the beginning. We have weapons you've never imagined, tactics you've never seen, and most importantly, we have the willingness to use them. She turned to the council. To the other species, humanity does not seek war with you. We seek peace. But if you side with the Valkyrie, if you attack human interests, you will face the same response. We will defend ourselves. And we will win. Mediator Zixthor spoke for the first time. Ambassador Chen, this is unprecedented. The council must discuss. There is nothing to discuss. The Valkyrie massacred our people. The council did nothing, so we will handle it ourselves. This is Protocol Ember. Stage 2 begins now. Sarah touched a device on her wrist. Across the galaxy in 47 systems, human ships revealed themselves simultaneously. They had been waiting in the dark, hidden by technology the galaxy didn't know humans possessed. Stealth systems, cloaking devices, cold-running engines. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Ambassadors shouted. Some demanded explanation. Some called for peace. Some began calculating which side to support. Sarah walked toward the exit. Captain Reeves followed. At the door, she stopped and turned back. One more thing, she said. The chamber fell silent. For 50 years, while you debated and ignored our complaints, we watched. We learned. We copied your databases. We know every secret, every corruption, every lie, every crime. We have all of it. Fear rippled through the council. Not just from the Valkyrie, from everyone. We won't use it unless you force us to. But know this, humanity sees everything now. We know who you are, what you've done, Remember that when you decide whether to oppose us, she smiled one last time. Not with anger, not with joy, with sadness. We didn't want this. We tried to teach you. War is what we left behind. It's the worst thing we ever created. You dragged us back to it. Now you'll understand why we tried so hard to escape it. She left. The door closed behind her. In the council chamber, representatives stared at each other. Some were already sending urgent messages to their home worlds. The galaxy had just learned that humanity was not what they thought, and the war had only just begun. 3 weeks. The war spread across 6 sectors in 3 weeks. The Velkari had fought wars for centuries. They had conquered dozens of species. They had never lost. They were losing now. Admiral Katya Volkov commanded the fleet from the UESS Indomitable. The ship was humanity's flagship, though the galaxy hadn't known it existed until 3 weeks ago. It was massive, bristling with weapons and faster than anything the Velkari had. On the bridge, tactical displays showed battles across multiple systems. Red for Velkari forces, blue for human. The blue was winning everywhere. Status report, Volkov said. Her voice was calm. She had been commanding this war for 3 weeks without sleep. Stimulants kept her alert. Duty kept her focused. Sector 4, Velkari supply convoy destroyed. 0 casualties on our side. Sector 7, their mining operations disabled. Sector 9, Ghost Squadron reports successful infiltration of Velkari Command Center. Volkov nodded. Ghost Squadron? Led by the man called Wraith. They were humanity's special operations unit. They did things that regular military couldn't do. Things that weren't on any official report. Right now, Wraith and his team were inside a Velkari military station. They had infiltrated using captured Velkari identification. They spoke the language perfectly. They wore the armor. They knew the protocols because humans were good at this. Humans had spent thousands of years being spies, assassins, infiltrators. Every military in human history had special forces. The galaxy didn't have an equivalent concept. They fought openly, honorably. Humans didn't. Wraith stood in the command center pretending to check a terminal. Around him, Velkari officers worked frantically. They were losing the war and didn't understand why. Their tactics should work. Their numbers should matter. But nothing was going as planned. That was because every order they sent was intercepted. Every plan was known before they executed it. And sometimes when Ghost Squadron felt creative, they changed the orders, just slightly, enough to cause confusion, doubt, fear. Wraith uploaded a virus into the command network. It would corrupt their tactical data, make them see human ships where there were none, make them miss real threats. It was psychological warfare. Break their confidence, make them doubt their own sensors. He and his team left the station before anyone noticed. Behind them, chaos began to spread. The Velkari would spend days trying to fix the problem, days when they couldn't trust their own systems, days when they would be vulnerable. On the Indomitable, Volkov received the report. Ghost Squadron successful. Enemy command network compromised. Good. What about the diplomatic situation? 9 species have contacted us requesting neutrality agreements. The Velkari tried to form a coalition. Only 5 species joined them. Volkov allowed herself a small smile. They're learning. Fighting humans is expensive. Better to stay neutral. But 5 species had joined the Velkari. That meant more enemies, more battles. The war was spreading. This was what Volkov had feared. Not that humanity would lose, but that the cost of winning would be too high. In Sector 12, human soldiers fought on the ground. The planet was a Velkari colony world. The terrain was hostile. High gravity, toxic atmosphere, extreme temperatures. The Velkari had evolved there. They were adapted to it, humans were not. But humans had something the Velkari didn't. Adaptability. Lieutenant Maria Santos led her platoon through the poisoned swamps. Her armor filtered the air and regulated her body temperature. The gravity was crushing, but her powered exoskeleton compensated. The Velkari thought the planet was defensible. They were wrong. Humans had fought in jungles, deserts, mountains, Arctic wastes, underwater, and in the vacuum of space. Every environment on Earth had taught them lessons. Adapt or die. Learn or lose. The Velkari defenders opened fire. Plasma weapons lit up the swamp. Santos's platoon scattered, using the terrain for cover. They returned fire, but not at the enemy positions. They targeted the ground. The swamp explosions triggered methane gas pockets. Fire spread. The Velkari position was suddenly surrounded by flames. They retreated exactly as Santos had predicted, right into the real trap. Another human squad was waiting. The Velkari were caught between two forces. They surrendered quickly. Santos secured the prisoners and moved on. The objective wasn't to kill. It was to win. There was a difference. In space, the naval battles continued. Human ships fought with precision. They had studied every battle the Velkari had ever fought. Every tactic was known. Every strategy was predicted. But the Velkari were not stupid. They learned. They adapted. They stopped using their standard tactics. They tried new approaches. And sometimes they won. In Sector 3, a human task force was ambushed. The Velkari had used human tactics against them. Deception, misdirection, surprise. 3 human ships were destroyed before they could respond. 200 humans died. Volkov studied the battle report. "They're learning," she said. "Good, that means they're taking us seriously. Bad because this war will last longer than we hoped." A communication came in. It was Mediator Zixthor from the Council. "Admiral Volkov, on behalf of the Galactic Council, I request a ceasefire. We wish to mediate." "No." Volkov's voice was flat. "The Council had its chance to mediate. You did nothing when they killed our people. You don't get to play peacemaker now that we're winning." "Admiral, please. This war is spreading. More species are getting involved. If this continues, the Velkari will surrender. Or we will force them to. Those are the only 2 options. They started this war. We will end it. The galaxy is watching, Admiral. How you conduct this war will determine how other species see humanity for generations. Then they should watch carefully. We don't target civilians. We accept surrenders. We treat prisoners according to our laws, which are stricter than yours. We fight hard, but we fight clean. That's the message. Cross humanity, face the consequences. But surrender and we show mercy." Volkov cut the connection. Mercy, that was important. Humans had learned this lesson the hard way. After World War II, after the nuclear exchange, after the unification wars. Win the war, but win the peace too. Make them respect you, but not hate you so much they'll fight forever. A Velkari prisoner was brought to the Indomitable, High Commander Casthor. He had been captured when his flagship was disabled. He was the highest-ranking Velkari officer in human custody. Volkov met him in a conference room. Not a cell, not an interrogation room. A conference room with chairs and a table. Casthor was given food and water, medical attention for his injuries. He sat across from her, confused. In Velkari culture, captured enemies were treated harshly. It showed dominance. But here he was, being treated with respect. Why, he asked. His universal translator made his voice understandable. "You're winning. Why show mercy?" "Because we're not monsters," Volkov said simply. "We're just very good at war." "There's a difference. You killed our people. We respond with force. But you personally? You're a soldier following orders. We understand that. We've been soldiers too." Casthor was silent for a long moment. Then he said, "We underestimated you. We thought humans were weak, soft. We were wrong. Yes, you were. But you can help end this war. Convince your leaders to surrender. The longer this goes on, the more people die. On both sides. The Velkari have never surrendered. Never in our history. Then you should start. Because we will win. Not today. Maybe not next week. But we will win. And the more you resist, the harder we push. Eventually, you'll have nothing left." Casthor looked at her. Really looked at her. He saw the determination, the certainty, the absolute conviction that humanity would prevail. "What are humans?" he asked quietly. "You present yourselves as peaceful, diplomatic, but you fight like demons." "We're both," Volkov said. "We're the species that nearly destroyed itself and learned to cooperate. We're the ones who chose peace after mastering war. We're diplomats because we know the cost of conflict. But we're warriors when we have to be. You forced us to remember that part of ourselves." She stood. "Think about what I said. Talk to your leaders. This war can end, but only if you choose to end it." Back on the bridge, Volkov received new intelligence. The Velkari were massing their remaining forces for a final battle. Everything they had left, all their ships, all their troops. One massive engagement to turn the tide. Volkov studied the tactical display. She could meet them in open battle. Win through superior tactics and technology, but casualties would be high. On both sides, or she could end this another way. A demonstration. Show them what humans could do if they really wanted to. Make them understand that continued resistance was pointless. She made her decision. Set course for Valkyrie Prime, the homeworld. We're going to show them something. Admiral, her second officer said carefully, if we attack their homeworld, we're not attacking it. We're making a point. They need to understand what we could do, so they'll accept what we will do. The human fleet began moving toward the heart of the Valkyrie Empire, toward the final confrontation, toward the end of the war, one way or another. The human fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Valkyrie Prime system. Every warning alarm in the system screamed. The Valkyrie home fleet moved to intercept. They had been expecting an attack. They had prepared for this. What they hadn't expected was what the humans brought with them. Admiral Volkov stood on the bridge of the Indomitable. Around her, displays showed the Valkyrie defenses, thousands of ships, orbital platforms, ground-based weapons, the homeworld of an empire that had never been conquered. Open a channel to the Valkyrie High Command, Volkov ordered. All frequencies. I want everyone to hear this. The channel opened. The face of the Valkyrie Supreme Leader appeared on screen. His name was Talvex, and he had ruled the empire for 40 years. He looked old, but his eyes burned with defiance. Admiral Volkov, he said, you dare approach our homeworld. This is an act of war against all Valkyrie. We will destroy you. You already declared war, Volkov replied calmly. When you massacred 2 million humans. We're here to end it. You have one chance. Surrender now. Negotiate peace terms, or we demonstrate what human technology is truly capable of. The Valkyrie do not surrender. Then watch. Volkov nodded to her weapons officer. Deploy the singularity device. Target, Valkyrie Prime's third moon. From the Indomitable, a small object launched. It moved slowly, deliberately. The Valkyrie sensors tracked it. They tried to intercept it. Their weapons hit it. Nothing happened. The object continued toward the moon. It was an uninhabited rock, a small moon used for mining operations. Nothing important. The device reached the surface and activated. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then space itself began to warp. A point of absolute darkness appeared. It grew. Matter spiraled into it. The moon cracked, shattered. In 4.3 seconds, the entire moon was gone, consumed by a contained singularity, a miniature black hole that humans had learned to create, control, and collapse. The singularity collapsed as designed. It left nothing behind, just empty space where a moon had been. Silence on all channels. The galaxy was watching. Every species with sensors in the system saw what happened. A moon destroyed in seconds, by a weapon none of them knew existed. Volkov spoke again. Her voice was steady. That was a demonstration. We could target your homeworld. Right now. We could end your species. But we won't, because that's not who we are. We're not here for genocide. We're here for justice. She paused, letting her words sink in. You killed our people. We could kill yours, but we choose not to. We choose to offer you surrender, peace, a chance to rebuild. This is your last chance. Surrender now or we begin targeting military installations. We won't stop until your empire has no ability to threaten anyone ever again. On the screen, Talvex looked shaken. He had seen his empire's fleet crushed. He had watched human tactics dismantle centuries of military tradition. And now he had seen a weapon that could erase planets around him, his advisors argued. Some called for continued resistance. Others begged for peace. The military commanders looked at their tactical displays. They knew they couldn't win. Not against this. Not against weapons that defied understanding. High Commander Casthor's voice came through on a private channel. He was still imprisoned on the Indomitable, but Volkov had allowed him to watch. Supreme Leader, Casthor said, I have been their prisoner for 3 days. They treat me with respect. They follow rules of war that are stricter than ours. They could have killed me. They didn't. They could destroy our world. They won't. But they will win this war. I have seen their capabilities. I have studied their history. They are warriors who chose peace. We forced them back to war. We cannot defeat them. Talvex looked at his old friend. Casthor had been his most trusted commander. If he said defeat was certain, it was certain. What are your terms? Talvex asked quietly. Volkov had been waiting for this moment. Your military will be reduced by 70%. The remaining ships will be monitored for 50 years. You will pay reparations for the Kepler 442b massacre. Your territory will be surveyed to ensure compliance. You will accept a new Galactic Council charter with human-written conflict resolution protocols. She paused. But you will retain sovereignty. Your government will not be dissolved. Your people will not be occupied. Your culture will be respected. We will help you rebuild what this war destroyed, because peace is the goal, not revenge. Talvex listened. These terms were harsh but not impossible. Other species he had conquered had faced total annexation, cultural erasure, slavery. These humans offered something different. Defeat with dignity. Why? He asked. You have won completely. Why not take everything? Volkov's expression softened slightly. Because we learned something from our own history. Crushing an enemy completely makes them desperate. Desperate enemies never stop fighting. But giving them a path to peace? A way to rebuild? That ends wars permanently. We don't want to fight the Velkari again in 50 years. We want this to be the last war. Premier Marcus Webb's voice joined the channel from Earth. Supreme Leader Talvex. Humanity has fought countless wars. We know what happens when victors show no mercy. It breeds hatred, resistance, endless cycles of violence. We chose to break that cycle. We fought this war to end it, not to begin another. Talvex was silent for a long moment. Then he said, I accept your terms. The Velkari Empire surrenders. The war was over. 3 months later, peace conferences began on a neutral station. Not the old council chamber. That had been too corrupted. Instead, a new station was built. New rules were written. The Galactic Council was reformed. Ambassador Sarah Chen returned to diplomatic service. She walked into the new council chamber with the same calm she had always shown. But now other ambassadors stood when she entered. They listened when she spoke. Fear, perhaps, but also respect. The new council charter was ratified. It included provisions humans had written. Mandatory arbitration, consequences for aggression, protection for smaller species, rights that had never existed before. The Velkari accepted it. They had no choice. But more than that, they learned from it. Young Velkari studied human history. They learned about World War II, the Marshall Plan, how enemies became allies. They saw a path forward. In a classroom on Velkari Prime, a young student named Kira raised her hand. Her teacher was human, part of the cultural exchange program. His name was Professor James Chen, Sarah's nephew. Professor, Kira asked, will humans ever fight like that again? Will there be another war? Professor Chen looked out the window at the sky. Somewhere up there, human warships still patrolled. The fleet had been reduced but not eliminated. Protocol Ember remained classified, fully armed, ready. We hope we never have to, he said honestly. War is terrible. We know that better than anyone. We almost destroyed ourselves. We learned to choose peace instead. But if someone forces us to fight, if someone threatens innocent people, then yes, we'll be ready. Is that why you still have the weapons? The ships? Peace is a choice we make every day, Chen explained. But it has to be backed by strength. Not to threaten, but to protect. We're very good at war. That's why we're even better at peace. Because we know what the alternative costs. Kira thought about this. Then she asked, could we learn to be like that? To choose peace but be strong? Chen smiled. You already are. Your people were warriors, great ones, but now you're learning to be something more. That's harder than fighting, but it's worth it. 50 years passed. The galaxy changed. The Velkari rebuilt. Their military stayed within the agreed limits. Other species saw what happened and learned. Wars became rare. When conflicts arose, they were resolved through the new council protocols. Humans became peacekeepers. Their ships patrolled trade routes. Their diplomats mediated disputes. Their soldiers trained other species in defense. But always with the understanding we choose peace. Do not mistake that for weakness. On Earth in Geneva, a memorial was built. It listed the names of every human who died at Kepler 442b. 2 million names. 2 million reasons to remember. Above the memorial, words were carved. We tried peace, we'll keep trying. Admiral Volkov, now retired, visited the memorial on the 50th anniversary of the war's end. She was old now, gray and tired, but she stood straight. A young officer accompanied her. Admiral, do you think we did the right thing? We did what we had to, Volkov replied. We stopped being victims. We showed the galaxy what we were capable of. But more importantly, we showed them what we chose not to do. We could have destroyed the Velkari, we didn't. We could have conquered the galaxy, we didn't. We chose peace backed by strength. That's the human way. Do you think they'll remember? In another 100 years? Volkov looked at the names on the memorial. They'll remember. Because we'll remind them, not with threats, with actions. Every time someone needs help, humans will be there. Every time there's a conflict, we'll mediate. Every time there's injustice, we'll stand against it. That's our legacy. Not the war, the peace that followed. She touched one name on the memorial, a friend who had died on Kepler 442b. We tried peace. It failed because others wouldn't let it succeed. So we reminded them why peace is better. Now they know. They'll never forget. In the depths of space, human ships continued their patrols. Protocol Ember remained active, ready, waiting, hoping it would never be needed again. But if it was, if someone